Welcome back. While delivering his independence message yesterday at the Victoria Park, Prime Minister Dr. Ras Gonsalves said that he was well pleased with the amount of turnout at the Independence Parade, especially from among the young people.
I am also overwhelmed by the very large turnout of the citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines today. I am particularly pleased to see the massive presence of the young people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Independence is for all of us, but it is very much for the young of the nation. It is said poetically that though it is wonderful to be alive, it is heavenly to be young. And today, the 37th anniversary of our nation's independence, this day, this beautiful day, is a day that the Lord has made. Let us be glad and rejoice in it.
Government will be releasing a number of prisoners sometime this year. Prime Minister Dr. Ras Gonsalves made the announcement while he delivered his independence message at the Victoria Park on Thursday. Dr. Gonsalves did not mention the names of the inmates who would be released, but did state that they are all young men.
Another week or two after a review which is currently underway is completed by the competent authorities, I intend to advise His Excellency the Governor General to order the release of some young men and women who are serving terms of imprisonment for relatively minor offenses. I consider that in all the circumstances that these young persons ought to be given a second chance. This is the internationally proclaimed year of mercy by people of faith, and we ought to exercise it appropriately to these young persons and others.
Concerns were raised earlier this month when it became known that Eversley Thompson was before the Mercy Committee for Pardon. He was convicted in 1995 of killing a 4-year-old girl in Beckway and was sentenced to death, but was committed to life imprisonment, which he is now serving. Prime Minister Dr. Ras Gonsalves said, while we are pained and angry at the crime and violence in our land, all hands must be on deck to deal with the problems that are plaguing our country.
Undoubtedly, we are pained and anguished at the blight of violence crime perpetrated largely through the use and misuse of guns and bullets by a small group of young men. This affects not only the victims and their families, but all of us in this small geographic space called St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Clearly, the solution to criminal violence is not a matter only for the government and the police force. All hands must be on deck, including centrally all the institutions of the state, the family, the schools, the churches, the media, the political parties, the non-governmental groups, and the communities themselves.
Dr. Gonsalves said that although it can be challenged, citizen security is sound.
Still, even amidst the dangers of criminal violence, our country remains safe. And citizen security, though challenged, is sound. Overwhelmingly, our people of all ages, sex and social condition are law-abiding, peaceful and good-natured. And the violent criminals are given no supportive space in our communities, save and except from a few criminally connected persons.
Stubbs resident Viv Simon has been charged with the murder of Errol Sutton, a 74-year-old resident of Georgetown and Stubbs, who was fatally shot in the head 2 weeks ago. Simon, 36, appeared before the Serious Court that a serious offences court on Monday, but was not allowed to enter a plea as the charge is indictable. Instead, he would reappear before the court on January 1st, 2017, when a preliminary inquiry into the matter would be held. Police are investigating an incident where 6 men beat up a 14-year-old secondary school student, causing him to spend 3 days at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. According to a Glen resident, Harriet Oliver, her son Azim Oliver was on his way to feed his dog at a house that she is constructing at Glen when he was accused of being a burglar and severely beaten by 6 men, one of whom had a gun. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph E. Gonsalves at the Independence Parade yesterday said, "It is right and proper that we commit ourselves to God and to each other to do what is right and better."
It is right and proper that as we acknowledge our nation's socio-economic and technological advances, we must recognize too and lament our individual and collective shortcomings and fall from grace and be accordingly contrite and recommit ourselves to do what is better and right. As always, change for the better has to come and start with each of us. We do good, but we can do better. And as the saying goes, every saint has a past, every sinner has a future.
Sir Frederick Ballantyne, Governor General of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, in his independence message to SPG, asked a question regarding education in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Quote, "Do we have to take a critical look at our system to determine if it needs revision?" End quote.
Is our educational system preparing our students for today's world? Is there enough focus on science and technology? Are our graduates equipped to join today's job market? Even in the developed countries, educators continually grapple with finding the best education model for this change in environment. Should we also be taking a critical look at our system to determine if indeed it needs revision?
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves on Thursday at Victoria Park said that with the scholarships and bursaries offered by 2030, his government will find the monies to get students to university as long as they bring good results.
Combined with other university scholarships negotiated with friendly overseas governments and supportive institutions, continue to place St. Vincent and the Grenadines on track to have 1 university graduate per household on average by the year 2030. I said to the students, give me ever better results and I will find the money for you to go to university. Fourth, the relevant authorities in government will shortly announce the 100 or so successful applicants in the aggregate for the coveted places for the new academic year in the registered nursing and nursing assistance programs. The students in the registered nursing program will continue to receive not only a free education, but also a monthly stipend of $1,000.
The newly appointed head teacher of the Fitzhugh Government School had to be escorted to the school by police last Friday, prompting the Ministry of Education to call on parents of pupils attending the institution to welcome and accept the experienced educator. About midday on October 21st, in the midst of the protest by parents and other community members, Myrtle Richards, accompanied by Senior Education Officer Keith Glasgow, was driven under police security to the school to take up duties. Staff and patients at the Chateaubriand Hospital would be more comfortable thanks to donation of medical supplies and Smart Hospital, earmarked for construction in North Leeward constituency. The donation of medical supplies was made by the government senator and Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly, Honorable Carlos James, At a consultation with health officials and residents last Friday, October 21st, 2016, at the Shatibele Learning Resource. According to Senator James, the donation was timely and the Health Ministry makes final preparations to relocate the hospital to a nearby resource center to commence the retrofitting of the hospital into a new smart healthcare facility. More local news when we come back.